Alright, hello everyone, it's me BaRKy, and I'm here to talk about the new content is in progress for Alpha 17 announcement that Tiny made on the 10th of April. It is something pretty major because he actually talks about some new stuff in Alpha 17. A lot of people thought that Alpha 17 was just going to be a sort of cleaning up update, but what it actually turns out to be is that there's actually going to be a significant amount of content in it, and we can actually read it over here. It was posted on the 10th of April. The biggest thing is that Alpha 17 will be coming relatively soon. I don't know exactly when, and they don't say, obviously. This seems to be a lot more close to being polished, I guess, than I thought it would be, which is really, really awesome. So it says over here, we recently asked players whether they would have the bug fix only update release, or if they'd prefer if we just kept working and waited until we had new content to release. The results aligned with my personal thinking, which is that the disruptive effect of a release, breaking various compatibilities, isn't worth it for a bug fix only release, so we've been adding new content. Alpha 17 will be basically two updates combined, where one of them was a refinement and fix overhaul. So it's kind of in line with what most people were thinking it was going to be pretty similar to, but that's very cool. So let's just speak about the things that he speaks about himself here. Roads and rivers across the world. So what could that mean? It could mean that when you look at the world map over here, it could mean that suddenly it takes a lot longer to maybe get over a river crossing into a new biome. Maybe the road allows you to travel quicker to different civilizations. Like there might be a road between Hostility Town with this creative fucking name and Red Dobra, for example, which I think is really, really awesome. You could maybe create a road like that. Okay, not like a box, but like from these two. That would be really, really awesome. Redone enemy base generation. This is a major thing. Why? Because base generation right now is absolutely terrible. It's pretty much not fun to use any base generation. And that kind of makes the game pretty boring. It's not fun to raid people. I've done it a few times with this colony. Enemy AI overhauls. They'll be harder to cheese in various ways and act more sensibly. So what could this mean? I'm guessing that it is a way to stop the traditional kill box, which I'm very excited to see because obviously every game kind of breaks down into having a kill box to get through. But it sounds like that's what he's alluding to in a sense, because he says they'll be harder to cheese in various ways and act more sensibly. So maybe different types of sappers, different types of raiders, maybe in a raid. I'm not sure. This is all speculation. I'm not sure, but maybe it'll be easier for them to burrow around your kill box, for example. Because late game, it's kind of hard to not have a kill box if you're playing on Random Extreme, which I generally do. I find that to be the most fun mode. You can kind of understand where I get that from. Then next he says, a new class of incidents that initiate quest opportunities on the world map. These are driven by a new combinatorial system that allows us to create destinations to go out of multiple pieces. I'm reading this terribly, I'm sorry. It's kind of hard to read actually. This creates more variation than we would get if we just had a single quest destinations. Now we can take any site core from a library surrounded with site parts from another library and the system will generate them all together. So you could have a core that is a stash of gold and add on manhunter animals and abandoned turret line around it, and the map generator will combine those. The number of possible combinations can get large quickly. This update will keep it pretty basic, but for future updates I hope to have a larger site part libraries which will create massive variation. So I get it roughly. What he's trying to say is that base generation and quests can now be done using these libraries. So you can say maybe like a quest can say, okay, pull this from this quest, pull this from this quest. It's broken down. Like think about it like a lunchbox. Like you have one little section for your juice, one little section for your sandwich. If you're a fatty like me, you took maybe like 2 or 3 chocolate bars to school. Maybe it's like that. So you can pull off. So when you're creating someone else's lunch, you can take that sandwich from your lunchbox, fit it in there, then your friend's candy bar. If you're a fatty like me, as I said, you can take your friend's candy bar, put it in your lunchbox, and suddenly you can work out like a basic quest system. And that's sort of how base generation for enemies works right now. It's like, okay, well, what is their wealth? How many enemies must there be? It takes all these little different factors, and it adds it in, which I think is really, really cool. I don't know. I love it. The biggest thing that he said, I mean, obviously the other stuff is probably bigger than this, but I'm happy to see this. People can tend their own wounds now. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I made a video speaking about self-heal and how it definitely should be in the game, and that I was pretty surprised that a version of it hadn't been in the game. Like there are modded versions, I know, I messed around with the mod in that video. But this is so cool. People can tend their own wounds now. I love that. I really, really love that. And then finally, he says tons and tons of rebalancing and detailed redesign to make skills matter more, make the economy more coherent and balanced, make animal farming for meat viable, make cannibalism a bit less ho-hum, make surgery not absurd, make room stats matter in a sensible way, make storytelling incidents more varied, and so on. So lots of little things, lots and lots of little things. Probably big overhauls to all the skills. If we take a look at skills, we have a few skills. You probably see this and you're like, some of these are not great, but you're totally right. Like the biggest skill that I can imagine is medicine. Social in the game does not matter much at all. Animals does not matter much at all. Construction is very important, but only for like, I'd say like 1 in 4 things in the game. Growing is okay, I suppose. Mining is basically useless. It really, really is. So maybe like a reward tier for mining would be pretty cool. Research is great. I mean, that scales really, really well. Research scales well. The rest of them are okay. Crafting is always good, but as I said, they don't have much weight to them, you know? Besides having quality, there's not much reason to level up stuff. Speed is not all that important in the game. It's not a major factor at all. You can see the lights kind of dying out now. And then finally it says, based on man hours, Alpha 17 will probably be the most substantial update yet. Rimworld has become quite a beast in terms of design complexity, so it does take a lot longer now to design and tune things so that they integrate into the rest of the game well. Don't overwhelm players with complexity and don't create weird exploits or nonsensical outcomes. But that's all part of the inherent challenge of designing a tight, integrated, wholly procedural colony sim. Exactly. So Tynan, one of the best developers of any game ever, has said himself that the game is getting pretty big now. It's getting very big to the point where if he designs something, it has a few adverse effects that he could never have predicted himself because of the scale of the game and how far it's come along and stuff like that, which I think is super, super interesting. It's very, very cool. I'm loving it, dude. I'm really fucking loving it. Obviously, he posted about the progress update on Alpha 17 back in February, so yeah. And Alpha 16 came out about 4 months ago. I'd say roughly about 4 months ago. So let's just say it comes out. I'd say Alpha 17 comes out in May, June time. But yeah, things that I really want: a way to stop kill boxes, because I want the game to make it. I want the game to become more difficult, but not be able to just throw turrets on, you know, stuff like that. That's not really difficulty to me. It's like a linear sense of difficulty. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you want to see in Alpha 17? What do you make of his words? Tell me in the comments. I'm interested to hear what you would like to see in the game. What I'd really like to see is that it doesn't fuck up all the mods. That would be pretty cool, but it probably will. Anyways, guys, have an amazing day. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers. Hey you! Thank you very much for making it to the end of my video. You've actually proved yourself to be above the average. Above the average. Because the average watch time of my video is 63%. But that's okay, because 63% is exactly how much you need to get a message across. And funnily enough, you only need to watch about 60% of this message to get what I'm making it for. Anyways, I've decided to open up a Patreon. If you'd like to support me, besides in the amazing ways that all of my awesome subs already usually do, then you can head over to the link in the description to check it out. All your support is appreciated, monetarily or not. If you're a subscriber, then be sure to hit the little bell over here to always be up to date with videos I push out, and head over to the Discord if you ever want to have a deep and meaningful chat with me. And last but not least, I hope you're having an amazing day.